Hey traders, welcome back on the Pursuit of Wealth for another daily market recap. It's Rod with Powell Group, and what a crazy day we had today. So in today's video, we're going to discuss the primary topic is going to be AirCanada. They came out with news about their dilution and raising money at $24. So we'll jump into that article in just a moment after we go over a few other news and events, but we'll take a look at the agenda for today. So if you're new to the channel, we go through a set schedule. We usually look at some news and events and then some overall charting of the broader sectors and then some individual stock analysis. And then I'll do a summary at the end of what I think into the rest of the week and the days ahead. So make sure to smash the like and subscribe to the channel. I would appreciate it. So we'll take a look at the Fed rate decision. So we knew that we had FOMC meeting today and providing their statement. So the Fed raises its economic outlook slightly, sees 4.2% growth next year and 5% unemployment rate. The Federal Reserve expects real gross domestic product to fall just 2.4% in 2020 compared to the decline of 3.7% predicted in September. The Fed also upped its 2021 real GDP forecast to 4.2 from 4. Jerome Powell led Fed estimates the unemployment rate to fall to 6.7% this year, and also an improvement from 7.6% projection in September. We also saw that the Fed is committed to keep buying bonds until the economy is back to full employment numbers. We also saw that New York Governor Andrew Cuomo warns a January economic shutdown is possible due to cases soaring to springtime records. So we'll continue to monitor any developments on that. GOP Senator Daines says a $900 billion relief deal could be announced at some point today, if not by the end of the week, but they're anticipating at some point before the end of business day today. So we'll keep an eye on that. It could run late though, as they are trying their best to, as they say, trying their best. But we've been hearing that now for about 6 months, and I am frankly sick and tired of hearing about stimulus. Let me know in the comments below if you're sick and tired of hearing about it. Personally, I just can't wait to move on and have it be a thing of the past. So U.S. retail sales fell 1.1% in November versus 0.3% drop expected. So again, taking a look at the economic calendar, these were their rates. So it was between 0 and 0.25%. So about 0.25%. Their interest rate decision, so didn't really surprise anybody, basically came in line with what most analysts were expecting. And moving on, Robinhood reportedly facing complaints by Massachusetts regulators over risks to young users. So regulators will reportedly file a complaint against Robinhood on Wednesday. The regulators' complaint will center on the trading app, exposing users, often young and inexperienced, to unnecessary trading risks. Robinhood has seen its user base explode during this economic crisis. Massachusetts Secretary of Commonwealth Galvin says Robinhood is a reckless company gamifying investing. The worst aspect of what they do clearly is the way they are gamifying the idea of investing. This is a very reckless company when it comes to these investors. They're interested in expanding their market base. They're not interested in serving their investors. So a little bit of FUD there, but we'll continue to check back in on that to see if there's any, laws or restrictions put in place, or if they make them, come out with a different, know your customer, so KYC type of agreement. Texas leads new antitrust lawsuit against Google targeting ad tech. So Google is facing a new antitrust lawsuit from a group of state attorney generals led by Texas. So you can check out that article if you want to learn more. And Facebook declares war on Apple. So social media company joins antitrust effort against iPhone maker, claims changes to iOS block targeted advertising that Facebook specializes in, an assault on small businesses. So the tech war is heating up, but as the title of the video suggests, AirCanada announces pricing of offering of shares. So they offer about 35 million shares at a price of $24. So that's why AirCanada was down today. And we'll go into some technical analysis and some chartings and some support and resistance levels and where I think the stock is going. And I'll give you some information that can hopefully make you a little bit more educated and more confident in your decision on whether or not you want to take a position or sell a position. But again, this isn't financial advice. This is just strictly for educational purposes only. But You can check this article out on your own time. That's why it was down though. They're raising money. And obviously it was at a share price lower than what it was currently at trading. And again, that shouldn't be surprising either, because we know that Air Canada is hurting. We know the revenue is plunging. We know that travel is being, basically kept to a minimum. And there's going to be an explosion of pent up interest and demand of people wanting to travel. But how long is that going to take? How are they going to, they're going to obviously have an overwhelming amount of demand. So how are they going to service everybody? It's going to be a task and some time ahead. So you need to keep in mind that when something runs extremely hard from the lows and they're in need of money and the revenues are plunging, this again, the same thing happened with MindMed. I did a video on it a couple of days in a row now, and the same thing happened when the stock got some positive momentum. Bam, we came out with share dilution. So you need to be on the lookout for that. Also, Bitcoin bulls surpassing 20,000 US for the first time amid dizzying rally. Careful not to fall off your chair today, because we are seeing all-time highs all over the place. So bulls in full control of the market, in equities and stocks, in crypto, in metals. We're starting to see a rebound there where it's just all bull. I haven't seen a market this bullish and euphoric in a very, very long time. So I made a video on this yesterday as well. Tilray shares surged 25% on merger with Aphria to create world's largest cannabis company. And Tilray is going to keep the name. I mentioned in my video yesterday that I expected Tilray to stand to benefit the most. And then sure enough, they kept all of their gains, and APHA, Aphria, gave it all back. So check that video out if you want to learn a little bit more. I also did some technical analysis. There was a golden cross also forming on Tilray, which gave us a clue to be targeting Tilray versus Aphria. And Aurora doing what Aurora does best, just disappoint its investors, laying off 200 idles, most flagship Sky marijuana facility. So just an absolute train wreck since this company really began. And honestly, I just feel bad for everybody who holds it. And they just continue to come out with more pain. And we'll see if the end of the bad news train ends pretty soon, but this train seems to be never ending. So we'll look at some SPY charts and some overall charting in the crypto space. We'll jump into an AC review. So Air Canada here in just a second, but I do want to just go over some crypto plays here. So Bitcoin broke resistance at 19,915, and we got as high as 20,907. And we are we're in a daily uptrend, so we could essentially drop from this point 15% and still be in a daily uptrend. So we can just anticipate a daily high or low. We'll see if we top out today or tomorrow. We have increasing bull volume, so don't fight these bulls, especially in blue sky breakout when it's crypto. And being Bitcoin out of all of those, out of all that, Bitcoin at the most is generally, it does what most people would never expect. But we do have some bearish RSI divergence here. The price is breaking out to higher highs, and we're breaking down here on the RSI. So that's something to be watching as well, that we do have that bearish RSI divergence, but we do have increasing bull volume. And like I said, we'll just look to see when we top out on the daily here. Once we lose the 4-hour uptrend, then we'll look for some consolidation. And that's when we're going to have that clue that the daily bounce is finished once we lose the 4-hour uptrend. So that's where we stand. I'm personally still in a Ripple trade. So I made a trade. Let's just see here. I'll bring it up real quickly for you guys. So I bought here on this initial pullback around the 49-cent mark. And then I bought a little bit here again around 48. And I bought again a third order in the 45s, I believe it was, or 40, I think it was 44.5 cents. And currently got an average of about, I don't know, 48 cents or something like that and change, and sitting pretty on that one here now. So looking to get follow through. We were taking a look at the weekly chart. We were looking for a weekly high or low, and we could potentially be setting that here now. So we want to see the daily trend change to be confident of that. So we did break the previous high of the previous candle, which we hadn't done in a very long time. So it looks like the daily bounce is underway. We are rejecting at EMA 12 though. So just keeping that as a level on watch, but we could see a bear cross here of EMA 12 and 26. I will scale in about 1 or 2 more orders if we do go a bit more extreme here. But I'm expecting a bounce, a significant bounce at some point here. Maybe it is going to take Bitcoin to just go sideways, which it's doing here. Everything is basically going sideways at the moment. Ethereum, Litecoin, Link, Cardano. So we'll see if some of that capital and hype starts to shift over into the altcoins, or if Bitcoin starts to sell off. We'll see if some of those gains trickle into other altcoins. But essentially, as long as Bitcoin's trending up, I expect it to take the most of the attention here in the short term. So that's where we stand in the crypto space. Blue sky breakouts. Congrats to the bulls and all-time highs. So SPY, in the end of the day here, we had a 2-minute head and shoulders, but we essentially held that EMA 12 support, or sorry, 26 period. And that's when we broke to the all-time high, and then we broke down, lost EMAs, and then selling into the end of the day. So some profit taking, but congrats to the bulls on this chart as well. Extremely bull. See, we had a previous all-time high at 371.05, and the high of the day was 371.16, pulled back, still closed over 370. So extremely bullish in my opinion, and no red flags, just taking profit into the end of the day. Same with QQQ, hit a new all-time high. Previous resistance was at 308.60. We closed at 308.98, currently up to 309.09 after hours. So new all-time high record close, bulls in full control. Take a look at the dollar. So the dollar did get a bounce going today when the Fed came out with this meeting. So initially, a lot of people were starting to think it was bearish. So usually we have that initial knee-jerk reaction. So generally what happens in so the statement came out at 2 o'clock. So right after 2 p.m. Eastern, that's when we saw that huge move up, about 0.3%, which is quite a bit for DXY. And like I said, I called it out in the group. I said it usually takes about 15 to 30 minutes and we get the real move. And then sure enough, after about 20 minutes, it was the complete reversal, gave it all back right into a lower low, and the daily bear flag remains intact. That's where we stand. So I'm gonna, in effort to keep this video a little shorter today, I'm going to just circle through here. So VIX was down, XBI down, TAN down. So those were leading the decline today. Let's take a look at the gains. On the bull list, we have the United States Natural Gas Fund. That's pretty much it. QQQ and oil bouncing up about 0.5% today. Let's take a quick look in the metals. So silver obviously stronger than gold. I've been calling that out for a while. And we are breaking out of this weekly descending triangle bullish, which gold broke it bear and then held that monthly uptrend line, which is the yellow line. And that's when we saw a significant bounce. And now we're back up to this support line of that weekly descending triangle. So we'll see if we get our weekly lower highs. We could potentially set weekly lower highs. We're right at EMA 12 resistance, and we could be setting up for a bear cross of those 2 EMAs as well. So we'll continue to monitor this, and it's all about 1764. If we lose that, it's a confirmed weekly downtrend and weekly bear flag. But obviously, silver standing out way stronger. We're above the resistance line. So I'm personally looking at scouting some entries in silver. And that's pretty much where we stand. Silver up almost 3.5% on the day. So congrats to the bulls there as well. So taking a look at the AIRCANADA chart. Just making sure I didn't have anything else. So let's take a look at what we can expect. So again, when a company, so let's just take a look at the monthly chart here. So when a company has run from the low of $9 and we've run 200%, and we know that their business is being crushed, we know their revenues are being crushed, we know that the demand is going to take a while before it gets there, before all these cures and shots start rolling out, there's going to be people not willing to take it. It's going to take time. And we were also topping out here at monthly EMA 12 and 26 resistance. And you need to be on the lookout for potential offerings and dilution and companies raising money, especially when you know their revenues have plunged 80, 90%, and they're still struggling and the future is uncertain. Of course, they're going to be starting to look to take you know, to raise money. So it's never a bad option after you're up 100, 200% on some names like AirCanada in this case, to start scouting some potential bearish news and start taking in some profits, or at least use a stop loss and make sure that you stick to a plan, a clear target. But with that being said, we're just starting weekly consolidation. So we're just anticipating a weekly higher low. We have a ton of space to form a weekly higher low. So we could drop 38%. That may make your stomach quibble a little bit. If you did enter in the last few weeks, that may make you a little uneasy because, like I said, we could fall easily 40% and still be looking for a weekly higher low. So with that being said, we do have EMA 12 and 26 there as well as potential bounce points. So 2052 and 2134. So we do have quite a bit of volume already picking up as well. It's only Wednesday, so we still have 2 more trading days. So we could see elevated sell volume. We'll see if this gains any momentum into the end of the week, but we did close very weak there. EMA 26 was at 2384. We closed at 2369 below it, which is bearish and heavy sell volume on the day. So again, deal price was at $24 and we closed just under $24. Do you think that is a coincidence? Absolutely not. So like I said, daily downtrend, weekly consolidation underway, just anticipating a weekly higher low compared to 1448. Taking a look at the hourly crushed, lower high every candle on the hourly. Actually, we had a little bit of a fake out here. Oh, sorry, lower high every candle on the hourly. So as soon as we break the high of the previous candle on the hourly, we can be confident that the hourly bounce will be underway, but we'll also want to see a change of the 5-minute trend, which we did have essentially a double bottom there into the end of the day, trying to hold that 2365 level. But a little bit of a descending triangle here as well into the end of the day here on the 5-minute. Generally, those break bearish, as we saw with the gold descending triangle earlier. So that's pretty much where we stand. I'll jump over to the weekly chart here for the AirCanada folks who are just foaming at the mouth for as much data as they can possibly get. So like I said, just looking for a weekly higher low. At this point, we could still be looking at a weekly bull flag by the looks of things. So let's just scale this up a little bit and take a quick peek. That's not the tool that I wanted. Okay, so let's just scale this up. So let's take our Fibonacci retracement. So as long as we hold the 382, so we could drop essentially to 22. I wouldn't want to see us drop any lower than 2250. If we lose $22.50, then I would say the chances of the weekly bull flag are negated. But I like the odds of this as they are starting to see a lot more momentum and positive momentum, and just the news of the cures rolling out could potentially help and see some accelerated demand here. We'll have to see how the logistics of that rolls out, but keep an eye here on the weekly bull flag potential. We do have the stochastic potentially looking to cross bearish here as well. So we'll want to see that. We'll want to see into the end of the week whether or not that crosses or doesn't cross. If we start to trend back up, that'll be a point in favor of the bulls. MACD was starting to curl there as well. But again, we'll see how it looks at the end of the week. We are still above the 10-week moving average down at $20.57. And we also have $20 psychological. So should be some strong support in the $20 region. Let's take a look at the weekly moving averages. We also have the 50 weekly moving average at 2269. So that could be a potential bounce play. So again, that lines up well for a nice weekly bull flag. If we bounced off the 50 weekly moving average at 2269, I wouldn't want to see us again move. I wouldn't want to see us lose 2250, or that's an extremely huge red flag. We also have some previous tops here to be on watch and on the lookout for at 2250. So again, old resistance could become new support. We did have support in this level as well back here in October of 2018. So old support, new resistance. New resistance may become old support and act on even older support. So I really like AirCanada. I'd like to get it as low as I could in the 22s. So closest to 22.60, 22.50. And I'd probably set a stop loss under $20, risk about $2 to make upwards of, you know, $10, $20, right? If this weekly bull flag plays out and the weekly 50 moving averages holds. Okay, so that being said, taking a look at the RSI. RSI was oversold in the daily, coming down. Looks like it could be we're at the midpoint of that range, so long ways away from daily oversold. Weekly RSI wasn't quite overbought there, but was approaching. So taking a look at the daily, we did have a golden cross. So looks like the price action got a little bit ahead of itself. So a lot of people maybe entered here on the 50 crossing through the 100 in anticipation of a economic recovery and a faster recovery. We do have the MACD trending very bearish here, which isn't surprising on the daily. But we did have that cross here, and then that led to a huge price. And obviously on the news of the cure coming out, that's what drove most of this recovery rally. But then we just had at the peak, actually after the peak of this move, we had a golden cross. So the 50 crossing through the 200-day moving average. So we are in a daily downtrend though at this point. You can see here with a lower high and lower low. So we are in weekly consolidation, and the 50-day moving average is down at 2013 as well. So a lot of support in the $20 area. I'd like to get it as low as I could, maybe enter, if it get extreme tomorrow and a gap down, maybe enter around 23, maybe another one 22.50, another one at 22. And by then we'd be, like I said, looking for a weekly bull flag. And if I'm wrong, set a stop under $20 and should be a decent risk to reward. So hopefully that gave you a lot of information and you found that information valuable and you can apply it to your trading or any positions that you have or you're looking to take. So we'll check into the MJ sector here as well, Airbnb and Dash. Actually, I'll just bring up those real quick here for the bulls, as we did have some green day in those names. So Airbnb, the day, again, in my video from yesterday and from the last couple of days, I've been saying we need to break the high of the previous daily candle. We had a higher open and we broke the high of the previous daily candle, and look at the open, from the open to the high of the day, up about 13%. So that's what we're talking about in terms of just, you know, not FOMOing in and to be on the lookout for potential, you know, just opportunities that come up once the FOMO and the hype has left the building. And we also had a inverse head and shoulders here on the hourly with the right shoulder, the head, left shoulder, head, right shoulder. And we got down to hourly oversold. So nice, good entry there, looking for the daily bounce on hourly oversold. Congrats to the bulls. And taking a look at Dash here as well. It was up on the day, but we did close ultimately down about 0.5%. So taking a look at the daily chart, we did break the high of the previous day, but didn't get a whole lot of follow through, but we were up about 4% there at one point. So clearly Airbnb stealing the show from the Dash bulls. And Dash bears are still in control and still a potential daily bear flag at this point. So that's where we stand on Airbnb and Dash charts. So we'll check into the MJ sector here real quick, just to see, as we did have that news with the free and Tilray, how did the other LPs shape up? So on the day, NSP Sundial led the way down, and then Aurora, obviously Aurora with that bearish news as well about layoffs. Tilray up 18% at the close, PCLO up over 16%, Oxley up almost 7%, VFF up over 6%, and Tilray and the Afria CEOs were due on CNBC, and they're likely on there now. If not, it's probably already wrapped up. But we had Hexo close at 108, I believe. I think that's a little bit delayed, but it was at 108, and looks like it's 108 post-market, so we'll run with 108. But let's just take a look at the Afria chart. So again, on the after hours here, you can see we gave it all back, and we could be potentially forming a bit of a descending triangle. So we could be potentially looking for a bounce here as well off of, we can draw the little support line here. So if you were to draw this out right about there, so we'll see if that support line can hold going into tomorrow. But we are up 2% here after hours. So it looks like that CNBC pump and hype after hours could be working. Also Tilray up about almost 2% here after hours. But you can see Tilray held way better, held its gains much better. You can see we never lost EMA 12 until just into the end of the day. So it could be a potential clue to be looking down to EMA 26 as a potential bounce point down at the 895. But the CEOs knew what they were doing by going on the media here after the market closed to try to get as much. And I anticipated that. I sold some MJ and rebought lower into the end of the day. So I sold it here after the initial bull move into the morning. And then I reloaded into the end of the day, knowing that Tilray and Aphria CEO were going to be going online on the media, and just looking for some more hype and hourly higher lows to be established going into tomorrow. Potential for a gap up. So Aurora, huge profit taking into most of the day, into the end of the day as well. We were potentially setting up a daily cup and handle, but looks like that is put on pause and could potentially be forming another cup. But personally, I'm not interested in Aurora in the slightest, but APHA had a huge red day. Obviously, like I said in my video, didn't stand to benefit as much as Tilray did. But huge gap in the chart still on Tilray, so we'll see if those gaps get filled. And one thing I wanted to highlight, I know a lot of people were asking about Hexo, so let's just bring this up. So we could be potentially, we're getting a huge bounce here on the daily from the lows down at 95 cents. We essentially had a triple bottom there, and we're getting a decent bounce going. So we could drop 14, 15% and still be looking for a daily higher low. But if we do lose that level at 95, then that will confirm a daily downtrend. And on the hourly, I was watching the hourly chart here with extended hours on. You can see we had a cup and handle forming with the high of pre-market or after hours. And we were forming a bit of a bull flag here and looking to get that cup and handle formation, but we did lose it into the end of the day. So a little bit of a red flag there, but we'll see. I wouldn't consider it completely ruled out at this question. If we do lose 107, then I could consider that negated, but already seeing a bit more pullback than we would have liked. But we'll continue to see if the Aphria and Tilray merger can continue to drive legs in the space. That's where we stand. CGC was down almost 1.5% today. So it looks like it closed below EMA 12 as well. Currently up 2 pennies after hours, so clearly not getting any, not seeing any benefits from the merger talks here after hours. And we had a 15-minute EQ on watch on CGC as well here with the high, low, lower high, higher low, lower high, higher low, getting extremely tight. So we'll expect a break of that range here into tomorrow. USMJ saw a huge day today. Chiron, BAM was down. BAM had earnings, were less than stellar. And we had GRWG just blasting up over 10% today. CXXI up 7%, also had earnings and fairly decent earnings. I'm not gonna, you can just give them a quick Google, BAM and CXXI should come up for you. VFF up over 6%, and TrueLeave currently at $41. So new all-time high, record close, and increasing bull volume on the daily, which is notable. Holding EMA 12 support. Bulls in full control of TrueLeave, and the American MSOs were the most steady, as they're extremely steady in the last few weeks and days. Just a constant slow grind and melt up, and we're not seeing these huge 20% or 30% moves, or like Aurora, seeing 100% or 90% in one day, but it's just a slow and steady grind. And for those people who are swinging it, you are pretty excited about that. Makes it a comfortable trading environment to be a part of. But you can see here we had that low of 38.19 on Trulieve on the hourly, changed the hourly trend with a higher low and a higher high, with a higher low, last higher low established at 38.38. So we could drop from here, we could drop over 6% and still be in an hourly uptrend, just looking for an hourly higher low. So just keep in mind that we could pull back quite sharply here. Could be tomorrow, we'll see. We do have some events coming out tomorrow as well, but we'll just take a look at the other top MSOs. So Cura was up 3.5% today. GTII up over 2.5%. So CL up over 2.3%. So US MSOs definitely seeing catching some bids today. And like I said, just slow and steady grinds across the boards for the US MSOs. So that's where we stand in terms of charting and the individual stock analysis. In terms of stimulus, we're still watching out for that, but we are hearing rumors that they're getting closer and they could happen by the end of the day today. So we'll continue to monitor that. That coupled with the initial jobless claims numbers coming in tomorrow could provide some volatility. So we've been trending down on the jobless numbers. It's been coming in at a decent miss for the last couple of weeks. So we'll see if that trend can reverse or if it will continue going into tomorrow. And Friday we have monthly options expiry. So that should provide some interesting volatility into the end of the week as well. So with that, thanks again for joining us on the Pursuit of Wealth for another daily market recap. Make sure to smash the like. It would show me some support and I'd appreciate it. And consider subscribing to the channel if you like this market perspective. Hope everyone has a great rest of their trading week and we'll talk to you tomorrow for another daily market recap.